G'day and welcome to Red Bull Flick Australia. It's Counter-Strike, but not as you know it. We've got 5 new maps and an all-new format that's never been seen here down under, ready to entertain you all throughout today. My name, of course, is Elfish Guy. You've seen me before. You've seen these two jokers as well. The Three Musketeers, we're back, that's right, for another Counter-Strike broadcast. But again, this time it's a little bit of a twist, and that is great news for us. We've been getting a little bit bored with what we've been seeing, the same old top 4 tournaments here, top 4 tournaments there, 5v5, what have you. Now a different format, now something to finally get excited about, Mac.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a banger of a day with some banger players as well. And Mitch, I know that we found out there was a couple of upsets we didn't expect yesterday in the qualifiers before we got to the grand finals today. So that's going to be interesting heading into today.
Yeah, a lot of unknown players that I haven't seen play too much, at least in terms of the normal competitions, the 5v5s that we get to see. So I'm keen to see who are some of these names that are causing some of these upsets, knocking out some of the better players in Australia.
All right, fellas, I think now is the time to start getting excited. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to kick off Red Bull Flick Australia, and we'll be starting on Speedway. It's Vertex and Dynamic Duo, the two teams that we might have expected to see in the grand final, playing here in round number 1. So, a grand final prelude, who knows? We'll have to find out later on in the day. But starting things off with a good match in Red Bull Flick Australia is going to be paramount, and I'm glad we get 2 of the teams that we're very excited to see playing in game number 1.
Well, that's it. It could certainly be that prelude to the grand final, and I'm expecting as much as we do head into Speedway. Hopefully, we do get some sick surfing goodness. But I guess we'll see once we get into the game. Looks like players are just currently getting ready. And I'm excited to see how they approach the site. I've seen a lot of the players come around on that boat side, land on the boats around the corner, still have a bit of cover. But the issue is, depending on where the opponent holds, you know, are you going to be able to, as you mentioned earlier, spam them through the boxes? You know, the cardboard boxes spammable, as well as a couple of the barrels there. The boat probably going to be the most solid position to hold on site, but then at the same time, if anyone comes on that other side, the bridge side, you're completely open to an attack from there.
Yeah, and when you can just zoom around the map at any point, you know, it can be a little bit easier as we do get into the game. Surfing already happening up onto the towers as Licky trying to provide a little bit of overwatch, but 2 quick headshots from Vertex.
Wow.
Deals with Dynamic Duo pretty quickly, and they're going to chuck a smoke down and try to secure that site for as long as possible.
Well, that's it out of nowhere, and PZ certainly utilising the smoke. Tensai over to the side, nice headshot to Reckons to buy some extra time, and now Vertex, they are in the lead. It's time's ticking up, which is good. Licky almost going to be able to find the 2K solo. PZ hiding behind the boat for now. But as you can see, Licky just used that patience to allow Reckons to come in on the side. Speaking of Reckons, he's going to take down Tensai as well. So Dynamic Duo now have control of the site and are just looking to hold it for as long as possible and try to get back into the lead. Up towards the bridge. Nice shot from Reckons, looking sharp with the AK. Tensai goes for the low approach instead, and Licky sprays him down. And Dynamic Duo take the lead.
Yep, now the surf up onto the tower. Actually anticipated by Licky, a massive shot. The 1B on the headshot angle. Tensai trying to come in on towards this site as well. But Reckons is going to deal with him. I think Dynamic Duo really starting to take the lead here, trading out a little bit more efficiently and just managing to hold that point for a little bit longer. A1S spray, very messy there from Licky. Probably an A4 user normally. As Reckons has once again secured Dynamic Duo that point for now.
Frags going left, right, and center, but Peasy tries to find the line. Coming around the corner, Tensai gets his head ripped off as Peasy goes down to Licky. So Licky heavily prioritizing this control of the scout tower, just looking to make sure no one can get near that site. Peasy like a sitting duck in the water. Right in midair, as we are going to see Tensai knocked down. 10 seconds remain. Dynamic Duo looking to close this one out. Reckons just hiding on site. He's down to half HP. Peasy goes down to Licky again, and this is a solid crossfire. There you have it. Round 1 will go to Dynamic Duo.
Very nicely done. Actually, A1S being prioritized because I think it has a little quicker inaccuracy reset, potentially. And obviously the spread, particularly at longer ranges that you don't often see in CS, might be a little bit more favorable there. So A1S actually could be a little bit of a favorable weapon in some situations. And you're already seeing Reckons, as they swap sides, put it to pretty good use. Tensai now on the point, holding it down quite nicely until PZ joins him up and surfs up into the tower once again.
Doesn't
and
even
this
need him.
seems to be the setup, right?
Yeah.
One on the point, one up in the tower, providing a little bit of cover, a little bit of overwatch. Recon's trying to get up onto the boat, does get shoved back down into the water. Licky is literally moving. You shouldn't be able to hit that shot, but that's one of the shots you were talking about before.
That's certainly it. And now he's going to be just walking up the wall, not too worried about site control until they deal with a couple of the Vertex players. PZ down as Tensai comes in through the doors. Just waits for a moment. We'll find Licky as Reckons now starts to control the site, but it's going to be PZ finding him and tagging him straight through the boxes. So it's a very good approach so far. Nice and low approach from Licky. They find the first, but PZ not quite on site. So the timer will not go down for now. They're just trying to control it as Reckons comes in to trade. And now that's an opportunity for Dynamic Duo to get back on site and get these points. But Tensai, he's jumped up, so not quite on site. Oh, can't quite get him. The Overwatch is too strong. PZ coming in from the bridge will just barely win that engagement. Crab walking to victory. And now that's going to be an opportunity for Vertex to get control of site. But they're more worried about just being in the lead and letting that timer tick down for now.
I'm not sure if 9 is a big enough lead, though. You're basically 2 kills away from losing that lead as PZ still staying alive for a little bit longer until Recon surfs around onto the boat on the side. And this still being very, very critical as Recons does win it and secure that point. And this is what I was talking about. A couple of kills away from Dynamic Duo getting back on that point and securing the lead and getting into these strong positions once again. One in the tower. Tensai clears Recons off the site, though.
Oh, very strong position. Licky does control it for a moment, but now this is the opportunity for Vertex to get back into the lead, and they're going straight towards the point, just 3 seconds behind, and it looks like they should just be able to equalize and get into that lead. We do see
one-ways.
Licky and Reckon starting to make their way down, and it's all up to PZ to hold. They're back in the lead by 5 seconds, and goes around the edge, finds the first man. Licky swinging very wide, lower. Tensai comes in, thought that was a knife, but it was just the AK at the ready. Now Vertex, they are going to get Tensai back on site with a couple of smokes, so utility starting to play a larger factor into this matchup. Nice spam from Reckons, and that's going to be the site in control of Dynamic Duo.
It's in a more entrenched position. No player in the tower this time for Dynamic Duo, though. They're both sitting around the site. Flank coming in from Tensai, who's surfed around towards the side, and he does win that duel onto Licky. And now Tensai getting another headshot onto Reckons. Cleans out both of these defending players. And Vertex, they have the lead. They have the site control. Trying to dig into some more cover here. And that's an excellent shot from PZ. Reckons getting dealt with as well by PZ, who's still securing this point.
Oh,
12 seconds here. Surely they're going to be able to even this up one apiece.
Licky's gone straight to the scout tower. He's only got 7 seconds to get to site, though. Relying fully on Reckons to clear this one out. Licky gets the cover, but PZ's holding. Reckons has to push to site to stop the timer from going down. PZ wins it, 2 seconds, and this looks like we are going to see Vertex take a round. So we're going to be going to a third here.
Going to a third? Only rifles so far. Haven't seen any scouts just yet.
All that AWP as well.
Kind of hoping for it, yeah, the AWP. Especially with PZ being in the server, this man can definitely maneuver an AWP. Although he's definitely on the more safe side of the AWPers, not as much of a flick expert in that regard. Reckons very barely alive, securing that point, trying to stay alive behind the box here as Licky once again seems to be the player providing cover and just creating a little bit of cover and space for his teammate. Does go down to PZ though, who is again putting in some great work here, getting some multi-frags and allowing his teammate to secure that point control. And you see him grab that AWP and just push forward, now actually starting to put that to some pretty good use. Vertex really holding on to the site now. Yeah,
Tensai, nice wallbang through the boxes to get themselves in the lead, just barely. Double surf around the side and Reckons. He's been spotted, but Tensai, he's quite low, so he's going to go for the cover instead and allow PZ take the shot across the top. So now 10 seconds in the lead as Licky takes the point player down. That's going to at least stop the points from going down for now, but not the clock. And it's just a little bit of silly buggers here on the ladder. Reckons trying to bait out the shots.
Oh no,
both of them died. They both fell into the water. Oh, it's a catastrophe. And Dynamic Duo now control the site.
They've both gone down for free. And PZ was just hitting shot after shot with that AWP, but now he's lost it and won't be able to recover it. And Licky just multi-fragging with the A1S now goes down to 1 HP, but Reckons still alive on the site.
Oh no!
He's thrown a nade at his teammate, but he does survive. At least for the time being, as Vertex trying to retake the point once again. A little bit of a crossfire is a bit too strong for Vertex to navigate through, and Dynamic Duo now with a 10-point lead.
Reckons, solid position. I think he's just trying to Play a nice close angle. PZ's head spotted. Not going to be tapped though. Reckons needs to stay alive as the point player, but the cover is there. PZ finds both kills, and he's going to charge the site because they need the timer back in their favor. PZ, nice headshot, and this is their opportunity to try to get back in the lead. Good cover, but it's PZ literally doing it all himself. 4 kills in a row at the moment. Licky trying to come in from the lower approach. Has no idea that Tensai's right above him, but at least he won't be able to get to site. However, Reckons, good cover.
Might be the last point here, at least on the first map, as Reckons gets himself another kill, denying PC from surfing around and clearing him off the site. Reckons behind the boat now with 9 points on the board, and that is the cover in from Licky. Unfortunately, not able to convert the frag. Now the point being contested. Reckons finally cleared off with 4 points. Only one more point cap for Dynamic Duo to take this game, but they have to be able to take it back, and PC won't let them.
This is so clutch. 1 HP and a dream. He's got to stay alive for as long as he can, and Tensai's hitting the ones that matter. It's Licky over towards the side, who takes him off the point, but he goes down. Tensai needs to try to charge now. 49 seconds left on the in-game timer, but Reckons, nasty one as he swings on the lower side of things. And that will be the point control. 2 seconds, make it 1. Nothing Vertex can do. Dynamic Duo take map 1 very, very closely.
Yes, very nail-biting game there. Came down to that last point cap. I thought PZ was going to be able to drag them kicking and screaming through that, hitting some very sharp shots on the AK and the AWP when he got it for a couple of seconds. I don't think he missed a shot.
Yeah, some pretty crazy stuff there from both sides in the end, but Dynamic Duo do come out with the win on Speedway.
And there you have it. It was actually PZ with the most kills on the board. Tensai a little bit lacking, but of course he played on site a lot more of that time.
22 and 22 for Reckons, so definitely upholding his end of the bargain on the Dynamic Duo side of things. What was also interesting for me was seeing like the power positions on the point itself. If you remember, the guys hiding behind the boat, standing right next to the tires, so they can't have their feet shot. So there's like all these little intricacies that, okay, you think they're just on the site, they're going to be anywhere, that's fine. But if you're 1 step too far forward, 1 step too far back on that boat, you're probably out in the open realistically. But if you're in the right perfect spot, that was where the crossfires were able to be established with the guy up on the tower, guy on the site. Things start to get a little bit problematic. But we've got Himalaya up next, so hopefully this is a bit of a change of pace for Vertex. They are down 1-0 in this series. Moving on to a primarily pistol-based map, do you think that's going to favor them a little, Mac?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I just know it's going to be extremely hectic. As you could see, there was almost no time to breathe, let alone communicate with your teammate, because those surfs just allowing you to go anywhere on the map as fast as you want, straight to site. And Himalaya is going to be the same thing, because it is, of course, the smallest map that we have in the pool. So I don't really think there's going to be much more time to breathe as we head in the map 2.
All right, well, off we go. It's a bit of a different style this time. Much more close quarters combat-esque pistols and maybe a shotgun in here or there. But it's a must-win now for Vertex if they don't want to get dropped down into the lower bracket very early on in the piece, which is what happened to them yesterday, and that's why they're up against such a powerhouse like Dynamic Duo in the first round of the final day of Red Bull Flick Australia.
Well, let's see how this one goes and what teams end up prioritizing, because I was a little bit, I guess, disappointed. I thought we'd see much more utility used on Speedway, but there was just no time to even go for it because it was just suns out, guns out, essentially.
Yeah, a lot of those teams mostly just grabbing the smokes and chucking them down on the point. Here we go. P250 armor to start things off in this match. Picking up a couple of grenades here and some Tech 9s as well. The initial things come out, and Reckons has already got the better of that, at least for the time being. Trying to hold that point down already. The Tech 9 in the... This is the angles that I'm talking about, man. The crossfire there. That is going to be bloody hard to deal with.
So, interesting, they've both opted for the Tech 9 in terms of Dynamic Duo, but Vertex, you got PZ, they're happy just to use the 5.7 instead, which is probably because he's got that one equipped. However, Tensai looking to find the angle now, and it is not going to work out for him. So, Vertex about to take the lead. There it is. Just barely. Licky trying to play that awkward angle. Tensai, it seems that position on top of the bridge is very strong for Vertex to try and hold. However, Licky doing it all himself there with the Tech 9. Dynamic Duo will retake the site. However, again, I'm not seeing too much utility used. I thought that would be a bigger factor here on Himalaya.
The molly in. You're seeing it mostly used by Vertex to retake the site, and it's worked twice for them. PZ with the nade on the first retake, and now the Molotov to clear it out. The nade in towards the pawn, trying to get a bit of chip damage to make things easier. Here's the flash in from Reckons to send Licky in, and it doesn't quite do what he wanted to, but Licky still gets two. I mean, I don't think either of those players were even that blind, to be honest, but... And now the smoke down on the choke point is going to allow Dynamic Duo to take the lead in terms of the score.
Oh, it's also allowed Tensai to get very close to sight. Now it's going to be the pincer all the way in. They've heard him coming, but they don't know that he's ran straight through that Molotov from behind. So bit of a crazy play from Tensai, but it works, and that's going to be the site retaken for now. And Vertex edge back out into the lead. Actually, it's a tied game.
Ooh. This is like Inferno Simulator, man. Chuck the smoke down on the choke point and hold down with your pistol. Now the flash into the site. Great flash from Licky to send Reckons in, but unfortunately he waits a little bit too long, and the push provides enough cover for PZ, but he can't connect the shot. Now the Molotov on one of the choke points as Tensai trying to contest goes down as well, and Dynamic Duo again evening up the scoreline, and now it's on to Vertex for the retake. PZ with that HE nade though.
Oh, Licky wants to go aggressive, and it works out. Nice headshot found, and it's up to Tensai to get in this advanced position. However, Licky is switched on. He's aware that this is the strat Vertex are using to try to get back into the site. Crossfire works for one, and Reckons flicks around to find the double kill. That's going to be more than enough. He's got 5 in a row already, and that's going to be the map as well, as long as he survives, which he does, and he gets that final very important kill to take round 1.
Nicely done. The pistol's already providing a bit of excitement. Haven't seen too many Deagles, to be honest. Jordan is just cheering in the background. He's loving it. Getting real excited.
Very, very crazy gameplay coming through here, and it looks like Dynamic Duo are 1 round away from taking this series. So let's see what they can do. They're on the map, on the point first, rather, as the split starts to come in. Tensai makes his way behind the crate on site, and it's enough to allow Peasy to come in from the bridge. Licky, P250 in hand, and looking to play the close range engagement. Tensai goes up over the top, tries to use the smoke as a one-way, which he does, as Licky gets taken off. Tensai, huge plays to hold down the site.
I'm wondering, looking at where Tensai is, there's a couple of boxes. I wonder if you can one-way over those. Either way, Molotov into the site. Does actually flash out that push corner. Now the flash goes a little bit too deep. Reckons gets blind, but the Molotov does end up spreading and taking Tensai out. But PZ with 2 quick Deagle frags keeps them off the point. Allows Vertex to create a little bit more space until this retake comes in once again.
There you have it. Reckons and Licky trying to figure out how they want to go for the retake this time. Molly on the front slowed Licky down for the moment, and it's going to be 2 quick frags to get that point back. Vertex, they're still in the lead in terms of points, but now they've got to retake the site before Dynamic Duo in just 15 seconds will be back in the lead themselves.
Ooh, 2 mollies going into the site though, flushing things out. Licky's going to go for a bit of a push out the backside, but it's punished. Nicely done by Vertex. Molotoving out some of those corners, forcing the defenders out of the site, and they are able to retake it for themselves. Really ticking down in terms of the clock now. Smoke and a flash to try and retake. PZ's got the Nova, though.
Oh, it's going to be dangerous, but the shotty is not going to be able to shoot fast enough, and that's why the pistols reign supreme at close range. There it is, Licky gets it done with the P250, upgrades to the Deagle quickly, and he's just going to hide in the corner. Hope that Reckons can come back in time, but Peasy, he's fast on the flank. Reckons seems to be fully aware. He's heard the footsteps coming through, and he's not going to hit too much without a head. Tensai comes in as well, and that's going to be Vertex retaking the site and a chance to maybe take a round and even it up at 1 apiece. Reckons now starting to come in, finds the lineup, 5-7, looking sharp, and Dynamic Duo retake it straight back.
Beautiful stuff. Gets himself a Deagle as well. And again, it's the same strategy for Vertex, trying to pick up the mollies and Molotov out some of those corners, but unfortunately Licky has gone on the aggressive. He's not holding down the point with his teammate, instead trying to go for the flank back around, but he runs out of ammo, and Tensai will take the point this time around. Grabs himself the Deagle as well, and Vertex getting very close to winning this game.
It was maybe a crucial mistake from Licky. 5 seconds, they need to find him in the bush. PZ3 is all he needs to survive, but he's going to lose that fight, and Dynamic Duo now have control of the site. Reckons needs to get there to help Licky, who's on just 22 HP. Licky, who's decided to go aggressive just to find a bit of info. They hear this flank coming through. Reckons holds it. 7 seconds. This could be it. Dynamic duo. 4, 3, 2, 1. It is over. Ladies and gentlemen, Dynamic duo will take their win in the first game of the day, 2-0 over Vertex.
Very nicely done. I mean, some people, at least in terms of the standings of 5v5 competitive CS, would call that a bit of an upset, to be honest. So maybe the run and gun playstyle that we saw Dynamic Duo sort of exhibiting there was actually the difference maker.
I personally think that it's all about having more bullets in the clip, especially because if you get caught reloading, there's not a lot you can do. You could see there were some situations there where I think Licky, he ran out of bullets with the P250, but he still managed to find another one on the ground quickly after dropping it, which allowed him to control the site for that little bit longer, and that could be the difference between, you know, victory or defeat. So obviously he had Peasy with the Deagle, but he's only got those 7 bullets, and if you can't hit those 7, then you've got to reload, and that's a huge opening for those Tech 9s to control the close range engagements.
Yeah, especially a little bit harder to hit those shots when everyone is literally just zooming across your screen with Tech 9s, never stop moving, 5-7, just spamming and tapping away.
There's a good chance this is actually the grand final prelude. We spoke about that in our first match of the day, but these are the two teams that have gotten through to the upper bracket final, and they have been deserving of that spot. Deadweight, second in qualifier number 1, 4th yesterday, but they're looking pretty damn good today. Dynamic Duo were first in the qualifier number 3. They came second yesterday, but certainly putting in a good name for themselves right here, right now. Let's have a refresher of the two players on Deadweight. Velo and Mr. Sharky, two very impressive individuals putting up some numbers in their matches thus far.
Yeah, Velo, a very sharp individual, and Mr. Sharky are really showing us what he was made of before, so let's see what he's capable of in a high-stakes match, because this is going to be the difference between a one-map advantage in the grand final or going to the lower bracket and potentially being up for elimination.
I just like the player photos, to be honest. Like, they both got nice shirts on. This is what you usually see from CS players. Black shirt or hoodie, or if I have to wear my team vest or my team jersey, then fine. But both of the blokes on Deadweight, you know, business shirts or like collared shirts, looking pretty good. Chuck them on the broadcast. What am I doing here?
Yeah, maybe we'll get an interview later on in the piece with some of the players. I think that's a possibility, but who knows? Either way, we'll check out the maps for this series now. Mac, you were expecting to see a bit of Speedway, as I understand, but that's actually not there until map number 3. And another important factor, Himalaya has been banned out.
I dare say it's probably due to the bans initially before you get into the pick phase there. So Matrix will be the pick coming out for... I'm going to assume that this one's actually coming out for Dynamic Duo, because they seem to like this. They played this in the qualifiers a whole lot, and because they didn't get their choice of Himalaya, looks like they've gone to this option instead.
Well, we're going to get to see a good matchup here. It's Deadweight and Dynamic Duo here in the upper bracket final of Red Bull Flick Australia. Both teams looking for that spot in the grand final, and off we go. Mr. Sharky, couple of shots. Licky's up on top of the tower. So far, no real harm done, but there is the first pick. Velo gets Licky. Mr. Sharky will fall for the trade.
Nice little shots coming through, though, and no control of sight. Velo just unable to cross. Spots Licky actually TP across and tries to find the second man, but it looks like Deadweight will get on site first and crack some numbers before they get their heads cracked back. Sharky over on the back line waiting for Licky to come through. Knew that he was coming, but Reckons now able to dominate in the middle.
Nice nade there from Reckons. Good understanding of the timings when those spawns are happening. Open hand here for Licky as well, but his head's going to be chopped off by Mr. Sharky. Reckons won't make a final stand on the point, and we flip it right back over. Deadweight now in control.
Velo a little bit too close to the corner there, and Licky was still able to spot him. Sharky doubling down in a similar position, but Reckons comes from above. It is going to be a trade from Velo. Thought that might have actually been Sharky, but Sharky fell before he got too many bullets in. Now Licky is going to throw a very ambitious smoke. Oh, that's that's a lineup. He knows the lineup to smoke off the other sniper tower. Ridiculous, and that's the offline prac we were talking about earlier. Licky, he's dominating control for the moment, and because the smokes just keep respawning, so he's just going to keep rotating this and controlling his own tower. Oh my god, Licky, you've done crazy things today, and now Reckons goes over to the corner, and with that smoke, that's going to make it so much harder to deal with Reckons on this corner of the site.
Yeah, a bit of a 5-head move from Licky, but the 5-head is hanging over the precipice, and Velo will take it off, so we're right back into control for Deadweight, who will opt to use their smoke to provide some cover on the site. Licky continuing to try to go up into the tower, but now starting to be punished for it. Will alter his strategy. That's a sharp one for Velo, but Licky able to very quickly trade, and it's even across the board. 31 to 38, no one in control just yet. Frags everywhere at the moment.
Issue with Licky always being in the sniper tower, or at least trying to be there all the time, is Deadweight always know where they need to look to find him. So changing up the position is going to be very crucial. Reckons will fall as Sharky gets the line. Velo just tanking that smoke out. Can see Licky. Couldn't hit him initially, but he will get a lot of damage to at least find the kill, and it looks like we are going to see Deadweight still out with a 1-point lead with 10 seconds on the clock. Reckons needs to get the point now. Licky dominating, but Reckons has gone down 7 seconds. Someone needs to get on the point. Licky, you need to make a move, my friend. And this one could just be all over Red Rover, and it is. He's a little bit too slow, and Deadweight win round 1 by 1 single second.
That might be the closest round that we've seen so far, but it's quite funny how it just peters out like that. Deadweight, they get a bit of a freebie, it almost feels like to me there. I think Dynamic Duo were a little bit slow on the uptake in terms of figuring out that they did need to get onto that point, because Licky was a couple of steps away. But in the end, look, you got to give credit to Deadweight. They're putting in some hard yards right now, and they're doing well for themselves. We swap sides, and now the Molotov is going to be thrown up. It's just missed Licky's position, and he'll continue to lock down this tower. That certainly seems to be the strategy for Dynamic Duo, is to continue to put Licky up on the tower, re-smoke your opponent's tower with the spawning smoke, and then hope that Reckons can get some work done down on the floor and get onto the site. But unfortunately, it hasn't really been working out to plan for Dynamic Duo. This time, though, already getting themselves a 15-second advantage and counting. Velo's in a good spot. Flash alters his vision, and as a result, Licky's going to stay on the point.
Well, that's it. The flashes are very important on this map, because you can throw one up in the air and it can flash everyone pretty much everywhere, unless they're hidden in a couple of these huts. However, Sharky on the backside on that corner, letting the timer tick down. He's looking to catch up now, just 8 seconds behind Velo, providing some covering fire from above, but Licky shoots over the top as Sharky pokes his little head up. Reckons will hit back, and now Dynamic Duo will control the site for now, but Reckons is very low here on the corner.
Not going to be able to do too much with the HP he had available. A nice double down from Mr. Sharky, who spotted Licky up in the tower. And now an AWP in hand for Velo. He's pushing very aggressively with this shotgun AWP strategy, maybe. And he gets the kill onto Reckons, dies, but it's okay because Mr. Sharky is there to trade. And again, Deadweight are going to be giving themselves a minor advantage. 2 seconds this time, but as we've seen already, 1 second can be enough. Dynamic Duo right back in control of the point, though, so they won't be letting this one slip by the wayside too quickly. Mr. Sharky taking a teleporter there. You see him flicking over to the left side of the screen. But Licky with the lineup, and Mr. Sharky and Velo had no idea that he was going to be there. Deadweight now starting to fall by the wayside.
Well, that's it. Dynamic Duo starting to play a bit more aggressive. Licky on the repeak will fall to Velo, but they need to find Reckons 8 seconds, and Reckons wins that fight. Sharky coming in from the corner, and he has the angle, has the line. It's enough to keep Deadweight in this round, but Dynamic Duo 4 seconds from a victory. If they can just sneak Reckons onto the corner and hold for a short moment, it could just be enough. But Sharky's here and wants to hit back. He knows that he needs to stay alive to stop Dynamic Duo from winning. Pre-fire from Reckons. He's on the point. Now what can Deadweight do? Velo needs to push up. He's got 1 second to get this kill, and he will! Okay, all the way to the end. We are going to see this fight go. Deadweight now allowing some time to be ticked off Velo. Solid advanced position. Sharky with the covering fire. They've spotted Licky coming on the side, and again, this is a very common angle we've seen fought a lot of the time, and that should just be the second round one. There it is. Time's ticked across. Dynamic Duo will take round 2.
You know, I was not prepared to call that one done and dusted for Dynamic Duo, even though they had only 1 second on the point. We've seen Deadweight come back from some pretty egregious deficits in their earlier match. That was against Caught Off Guard. This time, though, Dynamic Duo posing a bit more of a threat. Nice tap from Licky, but it's Deadweight that starts off with the advantage this time.
Very sharp little play from Licky. And of course, you can hear that those teleporters do make a little sound when you go across them as well. So that's how the opposing team knows where you've zipped, where you've zapped. And, you know, there is still the element of surprise if they don't have their ears listening. It is still all about shooting as well. Sharky tries to poke his head up, but Licky takes it straight off, and Dynamic Duo look to try to chase here. Licky really starting to fire up when it matters.
He's 29 and 16 on the map so far, Mac. He's looking unstoppable, but he has been the player that's been put in positions to frag, and frag he has. Another headshot for Licky. He's got the 30 bomb. That's normally a big number in traditional Counter-Strike, but here, I think it's even better. And so... Difficult times ahead here for Deadweight. They're at a bit of a deficit, but they are in control of the point. USP coming out for a frag there, and Velo, Org in hand, gets the better of Recons and Licky. So it's just such a backward and forward map right now, isn't it? It just feels like neither team can lock it down for any substantial amount of time.
Yeah, it's such an open site that it's really hard to find any safe nooks and crannies. Mr. Sharky decides to go on the point instead, playing around the smoke, so no time will be ticking down for the moment, but it looks like we are going to see Deadweight win that engagement. Sharky tries to go on the aggro. Velo from above will find Reckons, but still no one able to stand on site for long enough to get some time. Speaking of, Velo gets there, and again, Reckons just going to take his head straight off, so we might be looking at the in-game timer coming down to being the deciding factor in the end. And Deadweight currently still in the lead by a couple of seconds, but Dynamic Duo start to make their way to site. However, Deadweight hold it for now.
He in an advanced position should surely get traded for free, and will, but Reckons is there to keep his buddy happy with the trade of his own. Dynamic Duo back in control. Licky will need to hit some good shots here, though, and he's perched up high out in no man's land. Velo and Mr. Sharky back in control again. The deficit was only 4 seconds for Dynamic Duo, but now starts to increase again. Angles are being set up, and Dynamic Duo facing a potential loss on map 1 at the moment. There's 13 seconds left for Deadweight. Mr. Sharky absolutely run over by Reckons, and Licky turns around, flicks onto Velo's head. Dynamic Duo once again back in control, but they need to hold this point for another 15 seconds or so, even to equalize.
And as that was happening as well, you could see Licky just wasn't quite aware of the teleporter, and he fell for it as well. Deadweight on site at the perfect point now. It's going to be 5 seconds. Can Licky get him off the site? No, that's it. And it looks like Deadweight will be taking map 1 2-1 over Dynamic Duo.
Well, once again, Deadweight, you just cannot count them out of any situation. I came in feeling like they were the underdogs. I was probably backing Dynamic Duo personally, but hey, Deadweight, they made it look easy. Pilsky, you were having a little bit of a break there. What did you see on Matrix? Did anything surprise you? Does the result surprise you?
Yeah, the result surprises me, to be honest. You know, Deadweight just time again, upsetting more and more established CS players who have played in some higher leagues. And
oh, look at those big frag numbers coming out from Licky and Velo. 33 and 32 respectively. Mr. Sharky, though, for his own right, did a little bit better than Reckons did, and that's where you see those extra points on the board for Deadweight, I'd imagine. 2-1, very close there on Matrix. But at the end of the day, on the scoreboard, it's a 1-0 to Deadweight. So Pilsky, going to need to see Recon stepping things up a little bit going into the second map.
yeah, I think so. I mean, he's definitely a player who has played some of these more established competitions, so you'd expect him to have the experience and the individual ability to actually be competitive with some of these other players. Pretty much everyone, really, in Red Bull Flick, even the Vertex players, but not really showing up there in that map.
Yeah, I think he had some of the rougher roles, though. Don't you agree, Mac? He was the one that had to get onto the point a lot of the time. Licky was providing the overwatch. Reckons was the guy that was out there in no man's land, really fighting for territory. So it kind of makes sense that he would be the one that's getting a few more deaths than kills, I suppose.
Well, I think that could be a factor, but as far as I'm aware, Reckons plays a bit of a lower sensitivity as well. So maybe that plays a factor. Maybe, you know, a couple of these maps aren't going to play in his hand. And this is one of those maps as well. However, you know, the opposite could be said. If he does get into the sniper towers, that's going to favor him at those longer range fights too. Now, as we do head to Garden, it is looking like it could just be Dynamic Duo getting knocked down, but I guess we'll see, because this map, of course, is going to be the pick of the other team.
Indeed, indeed. And we've seen some pretty interesting games on this one already, some different strategies as well. Players opting to go for the double stack on the site, players going for the Overwatch setup where they have one player on the site, one player on the high ground. AWP has been a factor, but not as much as the rifles, and Velo starts well. Reckons just losing his head from the outset. That'll be that. Deadweight off to a good start, and they take control of the point. Mr. Sharky, double kill, and a fantastic headshot. I think Deadweight looking like they want to finish this one off with a 2-0. I know it's early to say, the very start of map number 2, but they're fragging well.
Great molly as well to force Sharky out, so Dynamic Duo will retake here, but they need to deal with Velo up on the high ground. He's been a bit of a nuisance so far, and again finds himself the double, tries to get to site to help out Mr. Sharky as best he can. Velo tries to take point, and he is hitting every single thing that's moving at the moment. Licky just dashes and slides across the top of the water as Velo. He's gone off point. He's happy just to try to keep some control, waiting for Sharky to respawn, and it looks like it has been the answer. Reckons from above just flies across the top, and in midair takes him out. This A1S as well, you can see the slightly increased accuracy while moving plays a big factor. Velo coming in from the side will take down the player on point. Licky though, he's going for that aggressive approach over outside his opponent's spawn, and he wins the engagement, but still Deadweight lead by 9 seconds.
You know what I think would be sick would be like a scout-only map in something like this, because you get some pretty nutty shots. Not that we aren't already. There's a double from Licky, much required for Dynamic Duo, who are now in control of the point and ahead. It was Deadweight that had a 15-second advantage, but they're now having to fight back for that, and it looks like they might just get it because they're now back in control of the point and ticking that timer down. Dynamic Duo up onto the high ground. Licky gets his head chopped off. Free haircuts being thrown in here by Deadweight as Velo also chimes in with a frag. And Dynamic Duo under a degree of pressure.
Well, that's it. The best way to retake from that position is certainly from the low ground, and it's worked out wonderfully. Dynamic Duo not letting Deadweight get too far ahead, but both players playing on site could be a dangerous factor as well. Sharky coming up on the flank, but Velo again choosing the high ground approach, but Licky hits the head this time. And this is looking good. Flash as well for Licky to try to go for the info plays. Speaking of info, if Velo can get Sharky back on site and get to the high vantage point, it's looking pretty good for him. But this time, Licky happy just to play a patient game. Velo dashes across, and it's an awkward situation. He's opted for the secondary. Reckons comes in. The covering fire just enough as Sharky ends up control of the site. Dynamic Duo, though, 3 seconds away from victory.
Indeed, indeed. They need to be moving quickly here, Deadweight. That's a good frag from Velo, but won't actually push forward. Instead decides to take the kill onto Licky, which is now going to give Deadweight a lot of control of the site. But damn, are they going to have to hold it for a while here. They're going to be fragging out as best they can. Mr. Sharky can't quite double down. It's Licky, in fact, who'll do that. 3 seconds left on the clock, and I'm not sure anyone can get there for the frags, and it'll be Dynamic Duo to win the first round on Garden. 12 in there from Licky, again leading from the front, and Deadweight just not able to keep up the pace.
Yeah, I thought Deadweight were looking like the better team at the start of the round, but Dynamic Duo obviously going for the two-men on-site approach seemed to be the answer. Let's see if they can go again as we've now switched sides. Velo, find first blood for the map, and we'll get onto site first, but a dirty line. Licky just tapping heads all across the map now. And that's going to be Dynamic Duo, just barely in the lead. Sharky coming in, and we'll spot Licky playing around the concrete block. They know that he's coming in on the flank as well. Oh, gets a stray bullet onto Reckons, even though he was shooting at Licky. Now, this is going to be Dynamic Duo increasing that lead, just stretching it out. Licky, nuisance. Cheeky headshot line going to be played. Nice shot from Reckons coming up on the advanced ramp, as that is going to be the site lost for the moment. Sharky moves on, and Reckons goes down. Deadweight able to get back into the game now.
Though for Velo, potential possibility. He'll actually pass over it, favouring the rifle, and for good reason. Can't quite turn around, though, and get rid of Reckons, who's there for the trade. It's Dynamic Duo that are searching for the 2-0 on this map. Licky on the high ground, loses his head. Deadweight come up with another double frag. Sharky and Velo combining forces.
Now it's going to be the double lower approach coming out from Dynamic Duo, both on the ramp, and they're not going to be able to spot Sharky initially. Velo with the cover is just too sharp right now, and Sharky comes in to bite his opponents as well. This could be the lead found from here. 2 more seconds. Sharky should be able to capitalize, but he needs to stay alive. Can't quite hit Licky through the fence, as we are going to see him and Reckons come through. Licky, the bait, runs out, and Reckon trades, and that might just be Dynamic Duo coming back into the lead, but Velo goes straight to sight to stop that from happening, and gets the kill as well.
It's a big kill to grab. Things are neck and neck at the moment between Deadweight and Dynamic Duo. Velo will drop. Licky, how is he getting a double kill there?
Ridiculous.
Mr. Sharky can't trade it down. Dynamic Duo, well, they're back in control of the point, but there is a 10-second gap. That's plenty of time, you feel, for Deadweight to jump in with a couple of frags, and they are getting them. There it is. Velo and Mr. Sharky back in control and increasing the deficit ever further for Dynamic Duo, even getting within striking distance. Velo will drop. It's Reckons again to keep it alive for Dynamic Duo, and 20 ticks on down.
30 seconds. He's gone for an advanced approach and won't be spotted straight away. Sharky tries to find Reckons, but Licky is just too sharp at the moment, and that's going to be the lead found. Dynamic Duo, 10 seconds from victory. It is going to be Deadweight. You've got the man coming from lower. Sharky caught in midair. Velo tries to go over the top, but now all Dynamic Duo have to do is survive and stop Velo from contesting the site. There it is. Dynamic Duo will take map 2, 2-0.
Well, it's the first match on the broadcast that we've seen go to all 3 maps. We're not quite there yet. Obviously, we have to wait a little bit for the players to get in the server, but finally, we're going to have a 3rd map decider here. Pilsky,
I mean, I'm just going to say it how it is. It's been 2 maps in a row. He's hard carrying Reckons. He's putting Reckons in the backpack, and he's taking him all the way to the grand final, potentially, if they're able to actually reverse sweep this series.
Let's talk about Deadweight and Steam Support. It is our lower bracket final, and Steam Support came through from qualifier number 6 in 1st. Deadweight qualifier number 1 in 2nd. Not sure which one is a better result, but playoffs day 1 was 4th place for Deadweight, 3rd place for Steam Support. Very, very tight between those 2 teams. So expecting it to be quite tight here in the lower bracket final as well. I'm thinking we go to all 3 maps.
Yeah, I feel like I would like it to go to 3 maps and be very, very close. But again, you know, we could be surprised. Velo and Mr. Sharky in a lot of their games have managed to get some clutch victories and not drop too many maps and even not drop too many rounds. So let's see what they can do against Steam Support. Let's see if they take Steam Support for granted and, you know, don't send their queries early enough.
True. Yeah, you definitely need to be on top of those. I think this series could really go either way. I think pretty similarly matched teams. I think Steam Support has every time over-exceeded my expectations, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do that again.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? They've been the underdog pretty much every single time we've seen them play. We've thought, oh, you know, they probably will lose this match, but that hasn't been the case. I would almost say the same thing, though, for Deadweight. We've almost underrepresented both of these teams in all of their matches, so I am quite keen to see what they'll be able to do in this best-of-3 match. Now, let's have a look at the maps first. That'll give us a good idea of where we're going. It'll be back onto Matrix. Both teams have played this map today, Garden Den and Castle. I almost think we're kind of getting a bit of a theme here in that these are the 3 quintessential maps. These seem to be the ones that we're heading towards a lot. Himalaya's a bit of an outlier, and Speedway's in there every now and then. But I think these are 3 most popular maps in the pool.
Yeah, well, I know that if even if Steam Support don't make it through to the finals, we are probably going to see Matrix anyway. Because as you saw before, that was their pick. You know, Himalaya got banned out early. Although it is going to be that best of 5, depending on who goes up, is depending on where we're going to go. But I'm very happy with that veto. I think that's going to be 3 great maps to provide some action. And Garden as well is going to be extremely entertaining.
Yeah, I think we've ended up on 3 maps that I would say are closer to traditional CS than a lot of the other maps. Maybe Himalaya might be, in terms of a force by context, a little bit on the closer side as well. But particularly these 3 maps, I feel like, you know, a lot of angles that are used, a lot of sort of more regular gunfights. Keen to see which way that it does go.
Do you have any prediction that you want to throw out? We're just going to have a little bit of a chat before we get into this game. So what's your general consensus? Who do you feel has been a little bit stronger today?
Well, Steam Support said that they couldn't return my skins. So I almost want to go against them.
biased caster.
I feel like they'll win, to be honest.
Yeah?
I reckon I'm going to go 2-1 for Steam Support. Let's go.
Making the lower bracket run happen.
Yeah, they just
Okay.
keep winning. They just can't stop winning. Someone stop them.
All right, well, I'm going to go on the other side just to make this interesting. I'm going to go for Deadweight because I pointed them out earlier saying I don't know why they're here or how they've got here, and I'm interested to see why and how they are here. And Mr. Sharky and Velo have really impressed me today, so I'm going to back them in this matchup.
Well, hopefully for you, Mac, they are going to win because then we might be able to get an interview with one of those two players, but we'll have to wait and see. First, it's time to head on to Matrix. It's one of those weirder maps. Teleporters all over the place, high ground, low ground. Even the way that it looks is very, very out of the ordinary. It's out in space, fellas.
Ooh.
This matchup, very important as well. It's the lower bracket final, an elimination game for Deadweight and Steam Support.
So off to a very sharp start. Mr. Sharky hasn't played for a little moment, and he is certainly looking to change that. He's spotted KZXL, solid crosshair placement, trying to get the advantageous angle, but it is going to be Velo to take him down from the side. And now that's already Deadweight with control of the side.
Yeah, trying to get into some more entrenched positions, and a nice little flick from Velo on the headshot angle. Sharky providing a little bit of cover from the sniper tower with the AK once again. Does deal with Hassi quite nicely, or rather Velo does on the side. KZXL playing in Narnia right there, just trying to get some of those headshots onto that sniper tower, and does a pretty nice job of it. Hassi as well clearing off the site, and although Deadweight have a bit of a lead here, and maybe actually securing that lead once again, as they've yet again flushed out that bomb site on Steam Support's map pick.
Oh yeah, very, very sharp initially for Deadweight, and just trying to play from above. Velo now leaves Sharky isolated, swimming in murky waters. It is going to be KZXL to filter it all out himself. Now he'll go to the corner, 74 HP, and has Hassi running up, trying to close the distance. He's managed to go over towards the side, but Sharky will come in before too much damage is done in terms of the points. Now you can see Velo has managed to at least trade out Hassi there. And it's looking quite well because he's back on the site. 24 seconds already remain. And that's just continuing to tick down as Sharky comes up over the top. KZXL, however, needs to make his way to the site himself. And he's heard Sharky drop, but Sharky, crouching at the perfect moment, will win that with a wallbang. Tapping away, finds the headshot on the Hassi. And that's going to be control of the point yet again.
Flash high in the air, try to create a little bit more space as Sharky is on a pretty big multi-frag spree but cannot keep it going. Gets taken out. Hassi now trying to Molotov off the side, but Velo gets the double pick there to be able to secure Deadweight. A couple more ticks off of here. Nice readjustment onto KZXL.
Yes.
Gets rid of him in the sniper tower. Surely that's going to be Deadweight taking the first round here. Very nicely done from the lads.
Oh yeah, straight over as the timer ticks, and that is going to be round one taken by Deadweight. We are going to swap the sides as Steam Support now go over to that T side. Not that it matters, all these maps except for Himalaya are symmetrical, so the only thing that can really change up is, of course, the player skins. And I feel like the CT models are a little bit harder to see than the T ones. However, Hassi at long range is trying to stop Deadweight from getting to sight. But KZXL, he's going to be here on the corner. But as he goes back for another little peek, he will lose his head. Velo, oh, I like that angle. I didn't know that existed. Haven't seen anyone really using this approach yet. However, he's going to be taken out as Sharky tries to fight from above. He's going to continue to hold the vantage point rather than going for the side.
Not getting any points off of it. Both teams a little timid to actually get towards the middle of the map, just kind of dancing around, taking some of these aim doors towards spawn side. Nice little dink there from Velo. But not really going to be helping them out too much as Steam Support have actually taken control of the point. Did that smoke get into the sniper tower? Finally, they have hit it. So pretty strong position here for Steam Support. Let's see if Deadweight can come in for the retake.
All right, well, it looks like that is going to happen very quickly indeed as Velo hits a couple of 2 taps, and that is going to be Deadweight looking to get some extra points on the board, which is going to start to happen, but Sharky needs to survive for a few more seconds, but the swing's coming in, and KZXL is ready for that off positioning, and Steam Support get back onto the site, but not for long, because Velo puts a stop to it, and Deadweight maintain that lead.
For the time being. Punish for crossing to the site, though. This kill could be quite critical if KZXL can get the kill onto the sniper tower, but a difficult shot to hit. Can't connect it. No one getting any more points. Again, it's neck and neck, and both teams a little bit more on the timid side of taking control of this point. Hassi gets taken out from the sniper tower yet again. Velo putting in a lot of good work here.
When Velo needs to help out his teammate, but KZXL wrapping Sharky, needs to fight. He's gone all the way to site instead, and he will hit the nice one onto KZXL, but Hassie returns the favor as he's now going to make his way to site, has a smoke to play with to at least provide a bit of cover, and will go to a safe position. Crosshair plays perfectly with KZXL covering from above. The wrap comes through, but KZXL doing God's work now as he does provide that overwatch. Now 40 seconds, make it 38 as Steam support continue to tick that timer down. 21 seconds on the in-game timer as well as Sharky finds one, but Hassie is going to answer that with something. Teleport across to the side. They know that Velo's coming hard on the right side, and it works out for Velo. So not too far in the lead just yet for Steam support. However, KZXL stops Velo before any more extra points go to Deadweight.
At least for the time being, Steam support with a little bit of a lead here. Let's see if they can hold onto it. Can't deal with the player in the sniper tower. A little bit too much spam on the inaccurate AK there. Sharky trying to hold down the site. Velo once again trying to do a lot of damage in from heaven, getting spammed away from Hassie.
Oh, but look at the in-game timer. 5 seconds remain as we are going to see Deadweight get on just in time. Smoke on the corner, but with 17 HP, he needs some support from Mr. Sharky. 3, 2, 1, and Steam support just barely in the lead, but Deadweight, they're on the site. Sharky, he's clutched this one out. 100 HP and now in the lead. If he just jumps off the site, that's the round and that's the map. Deadweight take map 1 with an extremely clutch play in round number 2.
An incredible clutch. We talk about how much of a difference 1 second can make. 1 or 2 seconds in the end there. It was just the 1 second that Deadweight needs, and Steam support might have met their match in this lower bracket final. Here, Velo leading from the front for Deadweight. Mr. Sharky not too far behind. Hassie was uncharacteristically, dropping down the scoreboard a little bit there. So only 11 frags for him. He's definitely been solid today, but I guess you can't bring that kind of consistency to every single map. For Steam support, both Hassie and I even say KZXL are going to have to step up next round. It's going to have to be a situation where both are bringing in their peak performance, because it's all well and good to do well in the tournament, but if you peak too soon, you might feel like you left something in the tank going into those late stages of the tournament. They might think, what if we got another 1 or 2 frags on that on Matrix? We might have actually won, but not the case this time. So that's going to have to be something that they don't want to let slip come map 2.
Well, that's it, and that would have been their map pick as well, so it is going to be very hard to fight back from here, because Deadweight were extremely sharp when we saw them play on Garden earlier, and I dare say we're going to see a very similar situation here.
Yeah, potentially so. I didn't mind seeing Steam support playing a little bit of Garden before, and we have seen them perform under pressure in that Caught Off Guard series, so let's see if they've got a little bit more in the tank here.
Well, it's time to see, Pilski, whether or not Steam support will be making a quick exit from this lower bracket final, or if they can push us through to a third. It's Garden with Deadweight up 1-0 and a must-win map for Steam support.
Let's see where to from here and who's going to be taking that initial control of the point, because it's going to be straight out of the gate action. I dare say we're going to see a lot of approach from the lower side. It seems to be the safer way to enter and one of the faster ways to reach that site. But the question is, do you go for the aggressive ramp play? Do you go for the passive ramp play? How do you enter the site? And, is there going to be any utility picked up on the way? Because, again, utility very crucial, not only to filter out the site, but to provide yourself some cover. Get your mitts on those smokes, get your mitts on those flashes, and just throw them everywhere you can to get the points on the clock.
All right. A lot of pressure here on Steam support. Let's see if they crack or whether they'll be able to fight back a little bit here on Garden in Red Bull Flick. Really coming down to the last couple of games of the tournament, and it started off pretty well for Deadweight. They have secured that point pretty early on, and Velo getting himself in a pretty strong position.
Let's see how the communication is. Hassie going to be spotted up top as Sharky knows where the second player is, but it's just going to be hiding his little old head for the moment. Velo goes up and spotted, but Sharky pops up just at the right time. KZXL does pick himself up a Molotov, which we are going to see him use to force Sharky out into the open, but Sharky goes to the lower approach instead, all the way down with Velo on the cover. This is looking good. He's rotated all the way around. Deadweight still really far in the lead already, capturing the side again. They're hitting the 30-second mark, and they're halfway to a victory in round number 1.
This is not looking fantastic for Steam support. This is going to put a lot of pressure on them. They're really struggling here on Garden, kind of falling to pieces a little bit as Deadweight really getting close towards that 0 mark. The double drop in towards the low ground, coming up both ramps, simultaneously trying to retake that site. A lot of pressure on Sharky, but it's actually the flank back around from Velo, who jumps up on the hedge, and it seems like Deadweight have got enough in the tank to get a 60-0 lead into the first game.
Velo's very ready for that aggressive play, but unfortunately, it was Sharky, the man I'm pretty sure just stood on the point the whole damn time, 6-0 in round 1, and Deadweight have a clean victory here on Garden for the first round.
Nicely done.
Woo.
That puts them 1 round away from getting into that grand final up against Dynamic Duo.
Looking for that rematch, as we are going to see Steam support looking to hit back in round number 2. There we are, already more points on the board than what they got in the previous round, so off to a much more solid start. KZXL's gone for an aggressive approach, actually, all the way across to underneath the opponent's sniper tower, but from this position it might be hard to find Sharky, especially when Sharky's tapping your heads like that.
Yeah, doing a great job for himself, being that point holder, up 8-1, and Velo's providing a lot of good cover as well over towards that ramp side. Hassie goes down once again. KZXL, that's a clutch shot to be hitting, and he's very well aware of where Velo is playing from. Nice double dink onto the high ground player there, secures himself the point.
A great read, great crosshair placement as well to deal with that position, but Sharky comes in from below, and just like a shark, is going to approach the site perfectly to hit his prey, and it's looking pretty good at the moment. Deadweight back out in the lead, 40-45 now, as KZXL's dropping that molly to force Sharky out into the open, and it works well. Headshot found, and they are aware Velo's loving this position up against the logs, but this time he is going to be taken out early. So Sharky goes up and tries to double down, but it looks like Steam support are starting to fire up just when it is most necessary. Hassie is just waiting for this aggression. He's telling KZXL just to hide, just to allow the time to tick down. But now there has been the approach from below. But Sharky's dealt with Hassie now in the opponent's sniper tower. This is going to be so hard for Deadweight to deal with.
We've seen them in this position before. You can see Deadweight, they're so confused about what's happening. Sharky well aware that Hassie is in the opponent's sniper tower now, but KZXL in a perfect position to crossfire, well aware that there's a player towards that headshot angle there. Hassie and KZXL, they've done it again on Garden, gotten into the opponent's sniper tower. Hassie grabs himself the AWP now to try to close this round as it's a double drop onto the lower ground, but I don't think they're going to get on the point in time. Deadweight.
They killed KZXL just in time, so the timer stopped ticking, and now Hassie finds himself the double. Is it enough? 2 seconds is all he needs, and he has survived. So Steam support fight for another round. It's 1 apiece now, and it's anyone's map.
That's a massive play from Hassie. We saw him do that earlier today. Either way, down to the last round, it was 1 apiece. Hassie again just getting fired up. Him and KZXL start the first point off nicely. And again, another aggressive play. KZXL getting up in the face of his opponent, and Sharky is not ready for it yet again. It seems like Deadweight are kind of falling apart a little bit here, Mac.
Yeah, that's it. So element of surprise works out, and Deadweight have just allowed Steam support enough to get them going in time. So it's not all over Red Rover just yet. KZXL with the AWP as well in an off position and a nice couple of shots as well. The read, the comms, everything working out at the moment. And now the reposition as well. So Deadweight, they're going to be focused on where they saw KZXL playing, but he's gone for a big rotation and tries to strike from above. Hassie as well, just looking to stay alive. And they've managed to have a clean round so far. 35 seconds already maintained on the point, but now it is Deadweight's time to strike. Sharky going forward as well. KZXL, he's just trying to make this happen from above it with the AWP. It's so hard, misses the flick, and Sharky will punish. Looks like Hassie's caught between a rock and a hard place, and this is Deadweight's time to strike.
Yeah, Steam support, they've been front-running for the last round and a half, but now the pressure's back on them to be able to retake the point here. Velo has unfortunately missed that shot. He's really having a bit of a rough time here on Garden, and Hassie takes out Sharky as well. So Steam support, nice little retake. Velo, 4-15, really rough map for him, but he's starting to get fired up a little bit more. Takes out KZXL, but again, Hassie on the great trade seems to do fantastic work from these high ground positions.
Yeah, you can see that darker camo from the CTs makes it so much harder when they're in the shadows to spot for these Ts coming in from below. So maybe the CT side is slightly favored just in terms of being harder to see in these maps.
Potentially so. Steam support back onto the point, really looking to try to create this opportunity for a reverse sweep.
Oh.
What a shot from Sharky on that AK. This man is digging deep for deadweight, wants to just secure that spot in the grand final right here, Mac, but can he hold on to the point?
Ooh.
Not in this case. Again, Velo has gone for the flank. He goes up into his opponent's sniper tower, and it doesn't seem like they're very well aware of his position, but he's not really doing a whole lot in terms of impact onto the actual round point score, I suppose, until Sharky gets on there.
Well, that was it as well. The A1S obviously much more silent when they are shooting, no traces as well, so it's harder to see where your opponent is, but he's opted for the Krieg for that moment until he was dealt with. Nice shot from Hassie, but Sharky returns the favour, and that's going to be deadweight just managing to get into the lead. 10 seconds is all they need to survive, and Sharky, he's swimming around, just staying alive. He might just have this. It looks like KZXL could come from the front, but Velo's trying to stop him, and deadweight are going to be getting a rematch in the grand final. 2 maps to 0. That was so well played on Garden to come back when it looked like Steam support almost hit back in that third round.
I'll tell you what, deadweight does love a comeback from behind. They've had to have that situation happen a couple of times now on the broadcast that we've seen. Who knows whether or not that's happened off the broadcast as well. But deadweight do manage to get that rematch, as you've said, Mac, in the grand final. And there's what you're talking about for Mr. Sharky. 22 and 14. Only 8 frags coming through from Velo, but that was enough for deadweight today on Garden.
Yeah, very, very good approach.
He must be the in-game leader.
He must be the in-game leader.
Yeah, haha.
Haha. Very funny jokes.
Funny jokes.
Now, I want to turn our focus onto Steam support as well quickly. Yes, they're out of the tournament, but, you know, big props to making it this deep of a run all through the lower bracket, past many, many players we thought they'd have no chance against, and they almost managed to make it happen there on Garden and take us to map number 3, but they didn't. So, again, huge props to them for coming this far in Red Bull Flick.
Dynamic Duo, who were second place in the playoffs yesterday. Deadweight, who came 4th there. Both teams qualifying through pretty early in the qualifier process, remembering that there was 8 days. Touching in with Dynamic Duo, who we haven't seen in a little while, Pilski. Licky and Reckons, familiar faces within the AUCS community. If you played a pug or two, you've probably seen them grinding away all day long. And I'd have to say, from the start of today, I sort of felt like these two were one of the favorites.
Yeah, certainly. You know, Licky and Reckons are very, very sharp individually, but the same can be said with Deadweight. Velo and Mr. Sharky, you know, we didn't really know what they had in the tank coming into the competition, but they are certainly making their way through as 2 of the sharper people in the competition. Mr. Sharky in particular, tapping heads left, right, and center before on Garden, which is potentially going to be in the veto as well. You know, there's going to be 4 of the 5 maps played, and that depends obviously which way it goes.
All right, Mac. Well, I've got the answers that you seek. Ooh. It's time to take a look at the veto, and we will be getting Garden. It's Matrix, Garden, Speedway, then Himalaya, with Castle being the remainder map, the automatic victory for Dynamic Duo, by virtue of being the team to go through that upper bracket final. So 4 out of the 5 maps are going to be played here. The main interesting point for me here, Pilski, I think, was the decision between Himalaya and Castle as to which of those would be the final map that doesn't technically get played.
Well, it was Dynamic Duo, which did get to pick that 4th map, so because of that, they're obviously happy playing Himalaya, and they've chosen that instead of Castle.
Yeah, I'm interested about that, because I feel like Castle would favour players who prefer to play a little bit more of a straightforward style of CS. I'm not sure that you want your Red Bull Flick Grand Final chance to get a sick gaming computer from Red Bull for winning this whole tournament come down to pistol maps. But end of the day, we won't necessarily be making it there. You know, if it is a 3-0, it is going to be Matrix.
Indeed. Let's have a look and see how things go. We're into the grand final of Red Bull Flick, and Reckons starts well. Tapping away at the head of Mr. Sharky, but Velo, he heard us talking in that analysis segment, and he starts with a double kill of his own. Deadweight off to a cracker.
Yeah, that's it. Velo says, I am actually the sharp one on the team, boys. Look at me, and look at me standing on site as Deadweight. They're here to fight. Almost 20 seconds already. Sharp shots from Velo and Sharky. Sharky to kick things off, as Dynamic Duo certainly caught with their pants down for the moment. 20 seconds already elapsed in terms of the time. And Dynamic Duo are trying to make their way back to site, but Sharky lurking, waiting below. Can't quite get the double kill. And Licky now able to get some points on the board for Dynamic Duo.
Getting spammed out of position though, down to that 1 HP, but he is still alive and still keeping the points ticking up for Dynamic Duo, while Reckons provides a little bit of cover from that sniper tower. Going to pick himself up that org and just try to make sure no one can cross towards the site, because if Licky takes even a tiny bit of damage, it will be Deadweight retaking that site. Almost readjusts onto Velo, who is having quite the map for himself, but Deadweight will retake the site and the lead.
I wonder if playing a whole lot of retake actually helps out these players, you know, because that's essentially what you're doing, is constantly just trying to play retake on the site all through this tournament.
Feels like a sort of a mix between deathmatch and retake, where you just keep getting spawned, because in retake it's like a separate round, but in this you just keep going and keep going and keep going. Well, Dynamic Duo are going to find another double kill courtesy of Licky, who is the man with the master plan, standing at the top of the sniper tower. He's smoked off the Deadweight tower, and Reckons locks down the site. Dynamic Duo have a bit of catching up to do, but they're doing a good job of that and getting pretty close to the number that Deadweight have on the board.
Shot from Sharky, though, is good. They know that Reckons behind the spammable wall, and Velo swings in. That could just be game. 13 seconds on the clock. Sharky from above is covering so damn well. Reckons he's going to be spotted as Licky will fall again, and he's trying to make his way back up. 3, 2, no. Okay, Velo's been dealt with, and now Dynamic Duo need to dominate here and now.
Very, very nice 2K from Reckons, and Licky's going to join him up on the site. It's so close to see who's going to be securing this first round, but it doesn't seem like Deadweight have just enough. Sharky trying to get back onto the site, is still contesting it, but as soon as he gets taken out, Dynamic Duo will start off the grand final very nicely. A one-map advantage for them, and the first round secured here on Matrix.
That's got to unsettle the confidence a little bit for Deadweight, I would think, you know, given that they had the advantage there. They had it, not on a silver platter per se, but they have allowed that to go back over to Dynamic Duo. You started to think, what could we have done? And then you start to get stuck a little bit in the past, where you need to be focusing on the future. And speaking of, already Dynamic Duo have started off well. Licky is hitting everything at the moment, but quickly put to bed by Velo.
Ooh, Velo gets into a very strong position here as well, just crouching around, hiding his head. Sharky with some cover, and Velo, with this reposition, is going to be completely safe from Licky up here. However, Sharky is hitting everything, and now both players are on site as well. Reckons finally getting some utility, and Molly goes to a strong position, but it's not going to spread far enough to hit Velo, so he's able just to hide on site. Sharky providing the covering fire over the top, and this is going so well for Deadweight.
Yeah, they've really gotten 20, 30 points in a row now, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon until Reckons actually steps forward and hits a nice headshot, but Sharky once again dishing out the damage. He's multi-fragging until Licky gets up into the sniper tower, deals with him, takes out Velo as well, but there's no one on the point just yet. Smoke goes into the opposing sniper tower. Reckons going to get down onto the site and actually start those points ticking away, but it's quite a deficit that they're working from here, Dynamic Duo.
That sniper tower really does feel like the power position for Dynamic Duo. Now Reckons looks to swing. Oh, the teleporter! It's actually saved Velo. It sent him up into the sniper's tower, away from Reckons' aim, but Mr. Sharky will drop. Licky's got another double kill. My oh my, you said Dynamic Duo need to dominate, and now they are. Deadweight, again, they had such an advantage, but they just haven't been able to hold on to it, and now they're the ones that are going to have to come back from behind.
Oh, and Velo does that perfectly. Quick 2K control of site, both players here as well, and they're looking to get back into it. You can see Dynamic Duo starting to make their way forward. Licky trying to take point. Molly as well to a perfect position. Velo now has to swing out, but the Molly's going to finish him. It's all up to Sharky to continue dancing around. They've got the lead for the moment, but he is just isolating these fights very well. Velo knocks in just at the perfect moment, and it's, again, so much time left on the in-game clock, but no one finishing just yet.
Oh, Velo is making such good use of this teleporter. You can see him just zipping in and out, and now he gets himself down onto the site. Sharky's going to get rid of Licky as well, and Deadweight started to get down to 10, but Reckons is going to get that key frag, is going to stop that point total ticking up for the time being. Licky up into the sniper tower, deals with Velo on the site. He's going to tap away at Sharky, but can't convert that frag, and there you go. A massive 2K from Sharky, going to even up this round score if they can hold hold on to the point.
8 seconds.
Licky's going to be charging on forward. 4 seconds remains. Gets onto the point. Dies, but Reckons is there with a double kill. Now an AWP. He's gone for the AWP, and he's going to hold close, but he's spammed through the wall. Time's not going to tick down at all for Dynamic Duo, even though they did just cap that point back on up. Mr. Sharky's on. Can Dynamic Duo even get there? It doesn't look like they'll be able to, and that is that round. Number 2 goes to dead weight by the skin of their teeth.
That was too close to call, but deadweight edge over in the end. And now 3rd and final round. They need to make this one happen. It's looking a little bit even initially to kick things off. Licky, nice patience displayed to find Sharky and almost control site, but Velo, quick out of spawn over the headshot line, is enough to get the damage done. He's gone straight to the sniper tower. Not going for the point control just yet, waiting for his teammate to do that instead. And just using the high vantage point.
Sharky trying to dig his heels into the site while Velo plays up in the sniper tower with the AWP yet again. Very nice cover from Velo. Very good crossfire between these two lads as you do see Reckons trying to flush out that site. Very nice headshot angle that he has found there to be able to secure Dynamic Duo some points finally, as Deadweight have had most of the site control. Reckons can't unfortunately be able to deal with that readjustment on the aim there.
Velo's missed the smoke onto the sniper tower of Dynamic Duo. Licky, though, not occupying that position. In fact, this time he's down on the floor. Capping up. And this one's been a little bit of a slower game, but Mr. Sharky sets it alight once again, a double kill. Deadweight might just come away with a victory here on Matrix. I would make the argument that they're looking a little bit better. Velo, he got Reckons, had no idea where Licky was. He went up on the teleporter to the sniper window.
Gets that smoke down as well. Perfectly timed, and that will buy them some extra time to get to site. Sharky comes across the top, and he's going to go straight up the guts. Velo now needs to try to trade. He's actually TP'd his way through the smoke. It actually provides him some cover to go forward. He's taken some fall damage, but has 5 HP, and now continues to drag out this lead for Deadweight.
Yeah, he's really smashing it in this grand final so far, Velo. So many multi-frags. Sharky, again, looking for another 2K as he's got his boots on the ground in that bomb site, but now you're going to start to see Licky contest up behind this smoke. Sharky is inside of it. So if it does fade, he will have a slight advantage in terms of the vision, and that has been able to get himself that frag. And now you're going to start to see Deadweight get some more points on the board, but Reckons is here to contest.
Hidden in the corner, Velo as well with the cover, and it's just enough as Sharky's still 3 kills and full HP. Velo, sharp shots again, and this is looking good for Deadweight to maybe take Matrix.
Mr. Sharky is in the key position. Reckons low on HP, will be able to win the duel, but he's lost Licky. Can't land the headshot onto Velo. Again, time starting to tick away for Dynamic Duo as Deadweight almost got back control of the point. Luckily for Dynamic Duo, again, the sniper tower position pays the price. Double kill for Licky. Velo drops, but Dynamic Duo relying on Reckons. At least he was able to get a couple of seconds there. Not on the deadweight side of things. Licky again, the double kill.
It's just multi-frags back and forth between Licky and Velo at the moment. Who can multi-frag harder? Deadweight do have a little bit more to work with in terms of the scoreline, and now Reckons started to get things working with that A1S. Does get some boots on the ground in the site. Deadweight with 12 points only need to contest for a little bit longer. A lot more work to do here for Dynamic Duo, but they at least starting to put in some good points with Reckons down on the site here.
Full contest, and Sharky over the top and manages to deal with Licky early. Reckons, not quite spotted, and a sharp shot from Reckons. He's hiding below and not expecting 2 men coming from the same position. Velo doing God's work now as he gets to site. 12 seconds is all that Deadweight need to close this one out. The cover's there from Sharky as well. Finds 1 man and needs the second. 6-5. Deadweight could just be doing it here and now. It looks like Velo on 4 HP will survive and no, he's gone down. No one's on the point. It's on 0, but there's milliseconds between them. Sharky needs to survive, just capping it. That's all he needs, and there it is. Deadweight take map number 1 to even up the series 1 map apiece.
That was absolutely insane. I don't know how many frags Velo actually ended up on. It was something like 36 plus.
36.
It was a nutty game from him, nutty game from Licky as well.
He was just resting last game. He was just resting his eyes, preparing for the grand final.
What have I said about peaking at the right time, And the grand final is when you want to peak. It was 37 frags in the end for Velo.
Jesus.
And that is a big, big number. Especially when you consider it's like It's not like Mr. Sharky was out of that at all. He got 26 for himself. He was 26 and 26. He wasn't feeding the game away. Licky and Reckons also putting some pretty good numbers on the board. It was just high stakes, high octane gameplay.
That's what it's going to be for the rest of the maps as well. I feel like the only map where that isn't a factor and it takes a lot more time to get to the point is Castle, and that's out of the veto. So we're only going to see this high frag gameplay, especially moving over towards Garden.
I would love to see on the stats maybe something like how many points you actually capped, because I reckon you put Sharky in that category, he'd probably have the most out of anyone in the tournament.
It'd be a good stat to get. But as we move towards Garden, it looks like it's going to be even more action. Lots of flying through the air, lots of advanced positioning. I wonder if anyone's going to take a ticket out of Steam Support's book and maybe move into the opponent's sniper tower. That's probably the best position I've seen on this map, because you can dominate the opponent's roof as well, and it's just such a solid position.
Taking a ticket out of Steam Support's book, Matt. I like it. I like it.
Hello, it's me, your brother. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm keen to see if anyone utilizes that. Haven't really been seeing too much AWPing, to be honest, so far. But Garden is one of those maps where it does seem like people do pick up the AWP from time to time. So keen to see who's going to utilize that a little better.
It's odd as well because, you know, it's a rough position to take it from, and if you try to fight up the top, you don't have a huge amount of cover because those walls are, of course, bangable. You can drop through the gaps in the top and try to get to a better position, but at least to kick things off, it looks like we are going to see Dynamic Duo starting on the T side. Sharky already the advanced position down lower, but it's going to be almost mirrored by Reckons, who shoots one bit better.
Yeah, Reckons just sitting on the site here. Didn't realize he was open to Velo, who is going to take Licky down as well. Good start here for Deadweight, but hasn't converted into any points just yet, as they only now cap out. Velo's already taken a lot of damage. 10 HP, enough to finish off Reckons, but not nearly close enough to also get Licky, and it's Dynamic Duo who are once again controlling the point.
Worth mentioning that Velo is looking pretty sharp on this A1S, not a weapon that you usually see traditionally used, but with this run and gun gameplay and a lot of spam, and you need the fast recoil adjustment, as I'm just talking about, before falls off the map. As well as the fact that on Garden, you know, if you boost across, you go down to 80 HP, that's a one bullet headshot on that A1S.
And those are the crucial mistakes which we just saw that you can't afford to make in the grand final. Deadweight, they're at least out to the lead, but
He's
you know,
just
that
killed his
little bit of
teammate.
extra time is awkward. Okay, Velo, extra confusion, so he's fallen off the map. He's trying to sabotage his team's chance of victory as Sharky tries his little heart out to win that 2-on-1 on site. Now Velo will be spotted making his way up top. Dynamic Duo, they need to come back and control the site for at least another 10 seconds.
Well, that's not how you're going to do it. Mr. Sharky runs over Reckons. Licky will have a pretty free angle there. Not a difficult aim duel for him in the form that he's been in so far today. Reckons will join him close toward the site, but neither team actually on the point just yet. Timing is really good for Mr. Sharky. Reckons was distracted by Velo, but Licky is always there with the Overwatch, providing a bit of an extra backup for Reckons. Dynamic Duo taking that timer down. Advantage to them for the moment. 36-36 actually, even as can be. But Deadweight swing it back in their favor.
Yeah, very sharp shots, but they are going to be sent straight back as Dynamic Duo try to get to site. Velo very wide there underneath the sniper tower. He's good for one, but Licky hits back. And now Dynamic Duo finally on the site. 50 seconds for them to tick down as Deadweight getting a lot of damage done. It's 32 apiece at the moment as Reckons flies his way back to site. And this could just be Deadweight losing the lead that they had.
If Reckons can dig his heels in a little bit more, but unfortunately he can't. Sharky comes and clears him up off the site. Licky now back in the strong position behind the casket there, just trying to keep this score lead going for Dynamic Duos. The double retake coming in for Deadweight. They both go up the ramp simultaneously, and Sharky, surely he's going to be winning this aim duels. His AK chaps have been on point so far. A bit of a standoff, but Licky is a little better this time.
You've cursed him, Pilski. Licky just too good at the moment. It's, again, Dynamic Duo that start to tick that timer down. 7 seconds remains, and there'll be very few of those left. In fact, maybe not even enough time for Velo. Can't get the kill onto Licky, and Dynamic Duo will go up 1-0 on Garden.
Oh, man. Velo at the moment seeming like he's just banging everyone out of the server or having a bit of a roughie. Very, very inconsistent so far in a couple of these maps. Hopefully he can start to pick it up. It is just one round.
Well, this is the end of the road. This is where you need to bring your A game and not make too many mistakes. Sharky and Velo, though, both going to be tripping straight into the crosshair of Reckons, who's just made that one look easy. 46 HP for him on site. Licky in a bit of a different position this time. Lower approach and looking to stop anyone from being able to walk up to Reckons there. However, great use of that utility forces Reckons out into the open. Velo trades, but no one on site for now. However, Dynamic Duo do have the lead.
Oh, sharp shot again from Licky on the one taps.
Oh my god.
He's really the impact player here for Dynamic Duo in Garden so far. The man is securing that site. Reckons providing some pretty good cover as well.
Solid position here, Reckons. A little bit slow up the ramp, but attention drawn for just long enough, and can't quite find the second man. Velo starting to fire up as he finds himself the double and the site. Not letting Dynamic Duo get out with too much of a lead and looking to fight back as quickly as they can, but they only get 5 seconds. The nasty shots from both the boys as they both head to site as well. Dynamic Duo, they want this map and they want it here and now.
And the double site setup, something that we saw quite a lot from teams earlier in the competition. But not so much later on, and maybe that's why. Just a little bit too easy to pick apart for Deadweight as they are able to get themselves a double kill. Licky under pressure now, Reckons also, but at least Reckons has won his duel.
Ooh.
Had no idea where Velo was. So Velo nets himself a freebie, but it won't result in any points.
Oh! Where's he going? What's he doing? Velo, what's going on? You're in the perfect spot.
He got into the opponent's sniper tower and then he's accidentally hit the jump pad and killed himself. Another costly mistake there from Velo, and it does seem like that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Dynamic Duo both on the site now, Jordan.
Here just patiently waiting for the peak from Velo. Won't be able to win the aim duel, but Reckons is hiding, and he's bought a lot of time. An extra 3 or 4 seconds there for Dynamic Duo to play with. And to be honest, Licky doesn't seem like he needs a whole lot. He's just getting everything done with nothing. Every peak works out. Every peak's a double kill. 20 and 11 for the map, and this one might well be a clean win for Dynamic Duo. 2 and 0 on Garden, and they'll go up 2 and 1 in the series. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not over yet. It is a best of 5. Still got potential 2 more maps to play. 2-0 though for Dynamic Duo, and Licky was the one leading from the front. He's been very, very good today. I think, to be honest, Licky's probably my MVP for the tournament. I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but he's been putting up some numbers.
Yeah, in terms of success, I'd probably have to agree with you. Obviously, getting the higher amounts of kills every single time, and even this map, you know, rocking that 2 KD. It's a nice little bonus to know that you are the alpha in the server. I don't know if you're watching the same game I am, but it looks like Velo and Mr. Sharky have some pretty solid fundamentals. So, you know, they're hitting their shots, they're doing everything right. They're playing the gimmicks, which you were talking about, saying a lot of these maps have their gimmicks. And what's the gimmick on Himalaya? Pistols.
Pistols. The most gimmicky thing of all in Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Hey,
it's been a gimmick for 8 years.
I'm forgetting the one giga gimmick
on
Himalaya.
The Nova?
The Nova.
Oh,
Nova.
The Nova.
If anyone uses that in the grand final, I'm just going to be gobsmacked.
What do you mean? It worked heaps well for Meridian City for 1 round.
For 1 round. For 3 kills in a game that he lost.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
Percy, you're just a hater. Just say it. You don't like Himalaya. That's all you have to say.
Look,
I love-hate relationship with it. I find it entertaining.
Okay.
But you
That's what this is all about.
Yeah, entertaining in the same way that you might find, like, I don't know, okay, I can't say what I was going to say, to be honest. I can't say that on
Tell me you're not
broadcast.
entertained. You know, earlier when you had PZ and Tensai, full set retakes, having full control of the site, and then going for the double mollies onto the choke points, able to push through. They were mollying one side, and then Tensai was retaking. No, well, they won Himalaya, didn't they? I'm pretty sure Himalaya was second, mate. Went to third, didn't it?
Or
maybe they won a round.
Lost. Anyway. Grand final.
What I want to know
Last
is,
map, Jordan.
how did that bus get there?
The bus?
How?
Well, you see, he was trying to reverse up the ramp. and he accidentally went to the left instead of right, and maybe that's what Reckon should have done as well, because so far Deadweight have just come up with the most impactful 2 frags of the first point.
He's gone straight for it.
He's gone straight for the Nova. It was a mistake. It was a bait. He's punished for it, Mac.
Oh, but Mr. Sharky now has the one object on site to hide behind, and it's working out well for the moment. Reckons as well, goes for the Nova, misses the first shot. Velo is able to fall to Licky, who gets all the work done with that Tech 9. And now we don't see too much utility usage just yet, but Deadweight, they're going to be trying to come up from the bridge side, looking to go in together. Sharky has that Nova, so he's just going to be trying to jiggle around the corner.
They double Nova!
And the Nova loses it to the Tech 9 again.
Look, they've got double Novas, Velo and Mr. Sharky. They both love the gun. Pilsky's just a hater.
Look at Velo.
Velo's position. I thought it was going to be so much stronger than that. Managed to find one close range, not the second. Sharky. Oh, head ripped off. That Tech 9 so strong in the hands of Licky.
Can't do that with the Nova. As Records. Oh, he's got a pre-planned Molotov. That is beautiful. Little jump throw to come up onto the site. I didn't see the Molotov anywhere, so I'm not sure if that went into the correct position. As Velo grabs his hands on a Nova yet again, and Deadweight starting to put in some work here on the site. Oh my god, the 2-man Nova set up towards the ramp. That is filthy.
Oh! Sharky finds himself the double with it as well. So this one working wonderfully so far. Licky close range knows that Sharky's close, tries to use the sound to bait out that aggression. And it looks like the Tech 9 could just reign supreme here. Not many bullets left in the clip, and he is going to go down. So the Nova's working out, and Pilly eats his words.
Oh, they're just winning a grand final with Novas. Just look at that. He's just pre-firing the angle. You can't even get close enough to be able to do anything about it. Licky now trying to come in, but it's not got a Nova, and that is apparently the better weapon here as Deadweight look to secure themselves the first round.
This is absolutely beautiful, but Reckons will come through. Yeah, no, there's milliseconds remaining. They managed to get the kill just in time, and Deadweight don't secure the victory yet, but Dynamic Duo, they need to hold, they need to survive. Molly coming in towards the choke point, forcing them to play in sight as well. Sharky will find one, but it's not enough, and Dynamic Duo still alive and still looking to make this comeback happen in round 1.
Honestly, this is where the respawns do start to come into a factor, because you need players with high HP. Licky needs to win this 2-on-1. Might just be able to do it. And actually, what I was trying to say is this is the perfect situation. You need one person to die. You need one person to win the 1v1, because you need someone to be there full HP. That's Reckons now. He's returned. Can he win it with the Tech 9? No is the answer, and Deadweight will win the round. It's not over yet.
Now they're in the lead.
1-0.
They're in the lead.
They're on the
lead.
For the first time.
From a sweet gaming PC, the darkest timeline is coming into reality.
Well, they were the comeback kings, but now they are out in front just when it matters most as well. But it looks like they're going to be in the lead again. Just 55 seconds away from victory.
Ooh, Nova once again doing fantastic damage and collateral for Velo. That is disgusting. Oh, Deadweight going up to 40 now, as you do see 2 different directions. They don't want to line up like that again for Velo, who's just putting in more work with the Nova. Shoulder peek does work out very nicely for Licky, but he can't convert that kill. Very uncharacteristic miss from the man.
Oh, flick around. Velo couldn't get the second man. Reckons comes in, but he's going to be caught reloading. Sharky as well capitalizes at the perfect moment. And this is now a 60 to 29 second affair. Velo comes in, try to stop it, but Licky looking sharp with that Tech 9. And again, Pilly, he's going to be swapping over to the Nova.
Yeah, try to use it towards this wall. Seems pretty good. 3 shots to kill at that range. Could have done that with the pistol, but hey, he's got the job done anyway.
This guy.
To take that point there, Jordan.
But you just need to take a chill pill, Pilly.
I think you're focusing on the wrong things here. You're not focusing on the underdog victory that Deadweight is 29 seconds away from. Licky goes for that Nova as Reckons comes in. He's just trying to tap away. He has to go for the reload, but Velo, that's going to be a free kill for him and control of the site. And that is the point. Completely dominated. Licky as well, just trying to stop Mr. Sharky from making his way across, which he does, has to flick back. And it is just going to be the bush, just enough cover for one. But Licky hits back, and Dynamic Duo, they're not done just yet.
Over in hand for Licky. Here's Mr. Sharky round the corner. Actually gets the Tech 9 out. Reckons pretty sharp. Double pick from the P250, and Velo is no match for that either. We're back into the Nova gang for Reckons at least. Makes sense. 20 HP. Need that one-shot potential. Molly forces them away from Bush, but there's still the 2-on-1 potential for Dynamic Duo. Velo gets turned on by Licky, and now it's surely in the hands of Dynamic Duo, who have control of the point, and Licky gets a freebie onto Mr. Sharky. 10 seconds left.
Yeah, very nicely done. They've got control at this point. The rotation's trying to come in here from Mr. Sharky, who seems like he's going to be allowed to run straight into the site for free, unless Records can get one more click. Yes, very nicely done. One apiece down to the last round of this absolute car crash of a map.
It's a good map. You stop it, all right?
I love it.
It is the final round of Red Bull Flick right here, right now. Reckons finds one, but Sharky trades it through, and Deadweight out to a lead again. But Dynamic Duo, they need to start to make this one work. Licky in a solid position, coming up the coils there, but Velo, he's respawned just in time. Reckons control of sight. Velo quite low, and he's going to go down. So now...
the TVs!
No! How are we going to watch the game? Oh, Licky has got the cover under the bridge. Luckily, we've been able to hook another one up for you, Jordan, as you do see Velo coming in for the retake. Wants to try to retake that site back from Recon's control, and 2 quick kills go the way of Deadweight, so they're going to be able to secure this point once again.
No util for Dynamic Duo, and now they have to go up against the Nova. Oh, Mr. Sharky's team killed Velo.
No.
And Licky says, thank you very much for the helping hand.
Oh, that might just be the tilter. That just might be the difference maker, Mac.
Well, it was, you know, a bit of revenge for earlier because Velo was killing Sharky accidentally over on Garden. But now it is the time to strike. Velo drops that nade, which will slightly miss the mark. Licky gets off the point instead, just looking to survive longer. Survivability, obviously a key factor while his teammate rotates in just to play the numbers game, and it works out. 2 kills for him, and now control of sight again. Deadweight looking just to go in one by one. Velo almost does it all on his own. Reckons look at the wrong direction. Sharky comes in from the flank, and this is going to be the point again. Now, Sharky needs to get to a solid position as Velo rotates in. But again, Licky, he's figured out the perfect way to entry, making sure that no one can hide on site. However, Deadweight, they're hitting back. They've got a smoke. Finally, some utility usage.
It's the smoke on the choke point. Mr. Sharky is going to be able to one-way towards the ramp, and that's not where the duo are coming from. They come across the bridge. Reckons kills Licky. There's another team kill, but at least he's got control of the site, using that corner very, very nicely there, being able to swing out onto that bridge position. 15 points on the board here, trying to utilize the angles and stop Sharky from retaking the site, and Duo looks like they're going to be able to line themselves up for the win here.
Oh, maybe Velo tries to stop them, but there's 3 seconds remain between them and a victory. Sharky comes in, and he's going to save the day. Milliseconds for Dynamic Duo to win. Sharky needs to survive. Licky is going to win the fight, but Velo comes in. This game's still live.
You got to reset here as Dynamic Duo. You got to take this one 2-on-2. You can't just keep running into the site. Reckons he won't win the duel against Velo. They're just feeding them. Licky, he might be able to do it though. Velo's low on HP. 3 in fact, and that is the frag. That is the cap, and that is Dynamic Duo, who will be the champions of Red Bull Flick Australia in the most crazy of circumstances. Mac is bowing down to the Kings. Pilski will take a sip of the Red Bull. What better way to finish the grand final than the 12-second gap on map number 5 on the 3rd round. It could not have been closer. That is a fantastic victory, though. Fantastic stuff from Licky and Reckons, and of course, congratulations to them for winning Red Bull Flick Australia. But that is the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Shout out, of course, to Red Bull. This has been Red Bull Flick, the first iteration of it in Australia, and your champions were Dynamic Duo.